John Dorsey, the new general manager in Cleveland, became the latest. It's a step up. I mean, this happens every year. I mean, you could set your calendars, your watch to it, however you want to synchronize. He's the latest general manager, the number 1 overall pick, saying, I'm open for business if somebody wants to trade for it. So,
sure.
And Dave Gettleman said the same thing with the number 2 overall pick. And I'm imagining Chris Ballard is hoping that both of those picks stay in their current spots with the current teams. And for some reason, neither of them go ahead and choose a quarterback because either Cleveland has gone ahead and gotten somebody in free agency like Kirk Cousins, and the Giants go ahead and take somebody like Saquon Barkley 2nd overall. And the Colts might actually be in a catbird seat position 3rd overall with every quarterback still up for grabs and their phone ringing off the hook. So what do you think the Cleveland Browns should do at the top of this draft going into this combine, Charles Davis?
We're going to take let's take free agency off the table then, Rich. No free agency.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to Cleveland.
Right.
I don't think he's going to be part of a complete rebuild from scratch when he's got an opportunity maybe somewhere in Denver or Minnesota to go to.
And both of those are top 3 defenses in the NFL.
Correct.
You know, so you're playing with some pretty good studs there. All right, so if we're going to talk about Cleveland that way, I said in my mock draft, Rich, and, you know, it's the first of many, but I tongue-in-cheek said that Cleveland ought to keep 1 and 4 and pick quarterbacks at both spots. Ha, 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 ha. Right. Now, we know no one's going to do that, but that just tells you where they've been over the years. Hedge your bet. Like the last time we even came close to that, obviously people will look at Washington with RG3 and then coming back in the 4th to get Kirk Cousins. But years ago, though, Houston Oilers got Dan Pastorini with the first pick they had, and their very next pick in the draft, they took Lynn Dickey out of Kansas State. Now, Dickey found his way in the NFL with Green Bay, et cetera. All I'm saying is they have missed so many times. The fan base is restless. The ownership has to be restless. Everyone's tired of hearing about you didn't take Wentz, you didn't take Goff, you didn't take this, you didn't take that. We can go right down the line of all the ones they didn't take. And they helped their team. Look at some of the draft picks. They have some good players, but they're not quarterbacks. So to me, Rich, they have to evaluate who they like best, decide on that guy, and pick him at 1 and not deal with anything else. I don't think you trade out of that unless you're getting a quarterback out of the deal that you really absolutely like. I don't think your fan base will stand for it. You've got to go get a guy that you think you're going to build around in their reset 18.0. I mean, that's really where we are with Cleveland.
Well, what I would do if I'm Cleveland is call up Dave Gettleman and say, look, you know, the previous administration acted all Sam Hinkie-like and left me with a process amount of draft picks. What's your package to move down to 4? What do you want?
Yeah.
And then hear what he says, and then try and dial it down from 11 to about 9, and trade up and get both your quarterback and Saquon Barkley 1-2, rip the knob off, and do that, and then give the Giants what they hopefully look for, which is a quarterback that they think is at 4, or Quentin Nelson, who might be there to protect Eli in his final days.
Yes, and you know something, when I hear you talk that way, you know what I think about? I think about the Atlanta Falcons when they started their rebirth to where they are today. And it started, and Rich, we were together for that draft.
Yep.
It was right after Michael Vick. It was after all that happened, the city of unrest. Their favorite son will not be playing. And you're talking about drafting someone to replace Michael Vick. And remember, the outcry was vociferous. Remember that, Rich? Because everyone said, go get the defensive tackle because you're too far away as a team. Don't buy the quarterback now, he'll get killed. But you remember what they did? They took the quarterback at 3, which was Matt Ryan. Yep. And then Thomas Dimitroff traded back into the first round and got Sam Baker at left tackle. And in free agency, got Michael the Burner Turner. And that team that started the transformation. And they went 11-5, went to the playoffs in Ryan's rookie year. Now, that doesn't work every single time. But what you're saying, that package is exactly where Cleveland has to go. Get your quarterback, get a runner like Barkley to help him out, and start creating that way. And, of course, they've still got to talk Joe Thomas into coming back. That's a big piece.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.